All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Jen, take roll, please.
Commissioner Corbin?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Waldner?
Here.
Commissioner Abraham?
Here.
Mayor Lindsay?
Here. You have attached the minutes of the July 14th meeting. Are there any adjustments or corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting. Any adjustments, additions, corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for July 21st.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no appearances, acknowledgements, or correspondence, seeing no old business, new business, number one, authorize mayor to sign grant agreement with the state of South Dakota for the enhanced mosquito surveillance activities. Fred or Chad, do either of you want to address that?
This is a grant that Ted put in for, actually, statewide to do some surveillance, mosquito counting, set up the traps and stuff, and get those all squared away, and then report the results back to the state. So I think it's a good thing that we actually get to participate in that. They're gonna give us some money to do it. It's a good thing.
Well, I just got to add to it too, and that when I was reading through it I didn't realize that we had different colored mosquitoes. And last night out in the garden, I saw some of them. So I learned a little bit on that process too.
I would make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the grant agreement with the state of South Dakota for enhanced mosquito surveillance.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign the application for federal assistance for the state of South Dakota for the Madison Airport Wildlife Hazard Management Plan. Chad, would you want to address that?
Yes, I can say a few things, Your Honor. Thanks. This is a grant application, basically to cover the cost for the wildlife hazard mitigation plan. A few weeks ago, the commission authorized that plan to be developed by KLJ as part of the requirements, if you will, from FAA for addressing the cropping issues and other issues that have been identified in the environmental assessment that's ongoing. And this would be able to provide the grant funds to cover that, to cover the costs for that. It's typically 90% federal and 5% state and 5% city. And that, I believe, is shown in the agenda packet. That's about $1,260 would be the anticipated local share for this grant, which is anticipated to be improved. Actually, the FAA has recommended to KLJ and the airport board and Morris to proceed with that, so.
And the total cost is around $25,000, right?
25,000 is about for the work that's being done, and then the grant eligible portion is about the 22.6.
Questions or comments?
I would move to authorize the mayor to sign application for the federal assistance state of South Dakota Madison Airport Wildlife Hazard Management Plan.
I'll second it.
Item number 2.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for transfer of entitlements to the FAA from the Madison Airport Improvement Project. Again, Chad, would you want to address that?
Yes, I can talk a little bit about that. There are funds that are accumulated for the airport, for each individual airport. Madison has these entitlement funds to the tune of about $31,000, $32,000, and we're utilizing some of those entitlements for the item that you just approved, the grant, but we're not able to use all of them, and so this $6,700 is something that the state had asked us to approve this transfer so that these funds can be kept within state and sent to another group to use those. They've indicated that, through some comments, that those can return in exchange when other projects aren't able to use their entitlement funds as well.
And some of these date back to 2011, and you got a little over a 3-year period in that to utilize them or move them on.
Right.
That's what we're looking at doing.
With that, I would make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for the transfer of entitlements with the FAA through the Madison Airport Improvement Project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign change order number 6, Banner Associates, PKG Contracting with the on the water treatment plant improvements of 2013. Fred or Chad, either one,
I
want to
believe
address
this
that?
is the final change order for the construction of the plant.
Mhm.
It includes some control works and modifications for the control systems and for the, how would I put it, paying back PKG for purchasing sand that we use for sandblasting. And there's a credit for the use of our vacuum truck that they ended up using to kind of expedite the cleaning of the filters and getting them squared away. So this should wrap up the change orders.
Questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign change order number 6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign the certificate of substantial completion with Banner Associates, PKG Contracting, on the water treatment plant improvements for 2013. Again, Fred or Chad?
Well, we're to the point where we're just about finished. They're down to a punch list. I think it's included in your packet. They've been working on that, doing some site grading, got that about finished. Got some surveyors down to make sure we get all the grades right on the site. Fairwell's completely done, so I think we're just about to wrap this up. So this would be our certificate of substantial completion as per the contract documents.
Are we gonna have a big celebration or anything?
So I was telling Commissioner Corbin, we gotta wait a little bit, and let Rick and the crew get that place back to looking like
Yeah.
it used to, so,
Catch their breath?
yeah, pretty much. Got a little break in the action, but, yeah, it's looking good. We'll be doing some seeding and some dragging hoses and stuff, trying to get some grass established here later on, so kinda get it all squared away, but pretty close.
Well, give our thanks to Rick and everybody that's worked on that project and through the winter Clearwell issue and everything else, so it's nice to see it getting finalized, so.
I will, thank you.
With that, I'll authorize that the mayor signs the certificate of substantial completion with Banner Associates, PKG Contracting for the water treatment plant improvements of 2013.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign a funding agreement for letting and construction of project P6312, parentheses 18, PCN 03DL, basically the Southeast 4th Street project. Chad, you
Correct.
want- or either one of you want to
Yes, I
address
can-
that one?
Yes, I can, Your Honor, thanks. This is the standard agreement that the DOT requires that a participating jurisdiction enters into when there's the surface transportation funds, STP funds being used from our account essentially, in that the state gets from the federal highway bill. This, we're using those funds for the project, for the street portion and the storm sewer portion. The water and sewer portion is covered with local funds, and those terms are talked about in this agreement as well, how those are to be separated. The contractor has to bid those two separate projects together, so we have the same prime contractor, but then afterwards, it's there's two separate contracts. The state has a contract with them, and the city has the contract for the water and the sewer, and it's sort of how, just kind of the standard practice that the state uses when we're using those STP funds and also accomplishing water and utility work, basically. So there's probably not much room for negotiating or leverage. I did share this with David, just so he's able to look at it and is comfortable with it. But we believe the project will be on schedule for letting either, this winter for construction starting next year, so.
Okay, very good. Other discussion?
I would make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the funding agreement for letting and construction of the Southeast 4th Street project for next year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approve the 2015 to 2019 Infrastructure Improvement Plan. And Chad?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This is a plan that we've come to adopt annually for about the last 5-6 years now, to try to lay out what we anticipate being able to do with infrastructure, using the second cent funds and the funds also from what's the name of the sewer and water fund, basically, the enterprise funds, that sewer and water funds, they contribute to this. And there's also other sources of dollars that are inputted into this when we have, say for example, STP projects, or bridge replacement projects, such as is the case in 2018 and such like that. But what this does is help, it really provides information primarily for 2015, and it commits to 2015, so Jen, Fred, and I know what the commission this is acceptable to really work on the 2015 projects, and then we are planning for those outlying projects as well. But those do move, and those projects do change quite often based upon priority changes or emergencies. For example, Northeast 5th Street jumped up in this plan from not even being on it in the outlying years to being moved into 2014 this year because of the water main. So
Five
different
or
things.
6 water breaks will do
Right.
something and make
And-
changes in a hurry.
And there's flexibility in that and such, so, I can go through just very briefly, there's a lot of detail in here, much more behind the scenes, so to speak. But, page 2 is simply, shows where the funding, some funds come from in each particular year of this 5-year plan, the water distribution fund, the sewer collection fund, the bridge replacement program, and then the capital improvement fund financing. And then again, STP, which would be 2015, that's the 4th Street project we just talked about. One presumption is in 2017, we'll be able to hopefully receive between now and then some additional funds from the sewer fund and put into the reserve that was established this spring, so that we can cash flow this thing. But if it doesn't come to fruition, we just have to shuffle things up here a little bit, and it does defer projects and things like that. And then that shows just a simple pie chart there showing some, so you can see it a little bit graphically. The next sheet, page 3, simply shows the project listings with some of the estimates of the costs for those particular projects and some other details. The other, one of the main items I just wanted to point out on there is in 2017, it's anticipated, up to this point, we've anticipated the Washington Avenue reconstruction taking place. The DOT, I understand, is considering moving that project back
19?
to 19 is what I've even heard, but none of that is final until the Transportation Commission approves it. Their 5-year plan is much like this 5-year plan in some ways, that, they can shuffle well to some extent and such, but I will report to you when that's determined, if that's been being moved or not. Of course, that'll shuffle how this plan looks as well, because it'll be moved from 17 to 19. And it also shows in here some of the costs for the chip seals and some of these other projects. We coordinate with, Fred and Jen to develop some of these fundings and show the cash flows and such. Page 4 simply shows it attempts to show the utilization of the funds. The cross-hatched areas shows the funds used over these years. Those are at the bottom of the bar chart there. The upper end without the crosshatch shows any additional funds available. As you can see with the big projects anticipated that were locked into with the state Highway 34 reconstruction in 16 and 17, those use a lot of those dollars pretty quick, and so we need to build them up in these coming.
Questions or comments?
I just have a real quick one, just because in the past it was a problem with the chip sealing. We're all over on top of that. Remember, I don't need the details of it, but just want to make sure that's on the radar. And
I think we're
think,
good.
yeah, I think you guys took care of it from the problems we had a year or two ago or whatever it was, so just make
Yep.
sure you stay on top of that one.
With the,
That's all I got on that.
we work with the county, as
Yep.
you know, and we've really tried to take some extra measures last year to really, ICAP was nice enough to borrow a heat camera from us so we were able to verify. A big part was the temperature of the asphalt, we believe, going
Yep.
down on the roads. And we also applied some fog seal on one of our busier, that's a seal coat over top on one of those. And so we're always striving to use better aggregate and use the proper procedures, working with the county. The county has indicated to us too that they've went through their distributor, which we believe there were some challenges with that.
Yep.
They've took that in and reworked it here this last winter, and preliminary reports from the new superintendent is that it's been working pretty well for them when they've been doing their work this summer so far. So we're always striving to improve that. That's a sensitive issue, we know.
Yeah, so appreciate it.
About that purple dot on Garfield Avenue. What exactly can I get out of that?
I don't know. Nothing.
Maybe we could put a Vikings logo on it.
Oh, let's not do that. Fred and I will both have to look at it.
All right, any other questions, comments?
I would make a motion to approve the 2015-19 infrastructure improvement plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 8, approve a peddler's license application, Southwestern Advantage. And Mike, would you want to address this one?
I will, thank you. I guess I want to have some discussion with my fellow commissioners about this, and as you saw in the packet, this is a company out of Tennessee, and basically they are trying to peddle or sell children's books, study materials, and I guess a couple of things that I want to throw out. I've talked with the police department, I've talked with other citizens and things. We've had this company before in our town and has not worked out real well, I guess is the biggest way I can put it, is their salespeople are rude, they're aggressive. Probably there's two main points. One of my main points is that they don't leave the residents when they're asked. They're obviously not very polite about it if somebody says no. And when that happens, then we have to call the police. And while, yeah, we want our residents to be able to, call 911, especially if it's needed, if they're feeling threatened. We don't need to have our residents threatened by somebody coming to their door trying to sell them something. Along with that, it's very time consuming for our police department to have to try to track these people down. When they do, typically, the police will ask the individual salesperson, show me your South Dakota sales tax license. We need to verify that you are part of this company. And of course, they don't have the sales tax license. So now what do? Do you take them down to the police station, and then, you can just see all the time that it takes to do all this. One of the second part that is really concerning to me is that on multiple occasions, I've heard from people where they will be set up on these payment plans and say, okay, I'm a debit or withdraw from your account, 3 payments of, or 5 payments of XYZ dollars. First payment is accurate. Second, third, beyond, they're actually withdrawing more money out of the citizens, out of a consumer's account. So obviously some pretty unscrupulous dealings that I'm not at all comfortable with. And the one other thing is, as you look at this and the product that they're trying to sell, that is not a product that is unavailable, I guess, to our citizens, to our people. We have one of the best elementary schools in South Dakota, one of the best high schools in South Dakota. As a city, we help fund our local library. Our library is well attended. We have educators standing by, ready to help our children, our youth, and our community. The library stands ready they got a ton of educational materials and things that's available. So I don't see this as trying to oppose a company bringing in a new product that's going to do some wonderful things for our youth and our children. So I'm not denying anything from our children. I think we have tons of those resources that are already available. Probably the last thing is, I think we're all at least aware there's also this other thing called Google that's out there, and this internet. It's not a fad, I've been told. And so, based on that information, based on the product they're trying to peddle, these unscrupulous dealings in the past, I myself, from the public safety perspective, I don't support this application. And so, give you guys some.
And I knew you had done the research and visited with the police department. That's why I asked you to address it.
Well, I certainly don't think that we need to be condoning anything that's been such a problem in the past, so. Do we need a motion to deny or just simply not approve it?
Yes.
You need a motion to deny.
I would make that motion.
And I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So the peddler's license and that will be denied. Okay. Authorize the use of the solid waste depreciation reserve for the solid waste truck push axle. Fred, did you want to mention anything on this? I know it's something we've had a discussion on in the past, and
We
it's
have.
being remedied.
Yep, this is just bookkeeping, I guess, to take care of.
Bookkeeping to show where the reserve monies are going, so if someone has a question down the road and that, they can say, well, why is our reserve down? Well,
Right.
these are the things and that they can look up, and these were the issues that were brought before us, and it shows basically, where the dollars went.
Right.
So, housekeeping more than anything else.
How many more ton can you haul with that push axle than what you could before?
We're up to about 13 ton now, which puts us about another 2 ton on the back of that thing.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize the use of solid waste depreciation reserve for the solid waste truck push axle.
Up to, can we have a dollar amount, Fred? We talked earlier today.
6,000 max.
Okay.
Up to 6,000 max.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Authorize the use of water biosolids reserve for biosolids hauling. And Fred, would you want to address that?
This will be the byproduct of our wastewater treatment plant. We actually put those out into lagoons for drying, and then every year we basically push those up once they're dry enough. And the following year, once they've dried, then we try to get those hauled out. And this is the year to get those hauled out. So with it being a wet, it's going to be later this fall, but we'll still get them out this year. So I'd like to get that money transferred over so we can get this done.
Do we have a dollar amount?
It's 25,000,
Okay.
and that's what's in the reserve to cover that.
Correct.
What do they do with it?
They actually hauled it to, well, last time we hauled it to Sioux Falls, put it in the landfill, they use it as cover for the garbage, so this year we go to Brookings.
I'll make a motion to authorize use of the water biosolids reserve for biosolids hauling.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You have attached bills for approval. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You also have bills for ratification.
Make a motion that we ratify the bills.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You also have attached some personnel adjustments.
Just the one, I have hired an assistant finance officer, Kristen Olson, will start amen on the 30th of July.
And that was a budgeted position already?
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's an open position right now,
Yeah, it's not a new one, it's just a replacement.
just a replacement.
Jen can stop doing two jobs.
Jen can't wait.
Make a motion that we approve the personnel as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no announcements or other business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.